Hey guys, do you ever feel like the outside world rejects you? Do you ever feel like you're missing something in your life? Like a father figure, perhaps? Well, may I suggest the Shredder? With the Shredder, you could learn effort, discipline, loyalty, and you could even earn the right to wear the dragon doji. This could be a stepping point in your life that changes you forever. The Shredder? Seems legit. So yes, I picked up the Ultimates Ninja Turtles Shredder. And this is one that, just like Leonardo, I was really looking forward to. Since I saw the Ninja Turtles movie, Shredder has been one of my top 10 all-time favorite villains in the whole freaking history of fandom for my life. And so when I saw this, I had to have it. Let's open this guy up. Let's check out his case, because I'm sure that just like the last one, I'm sure that he has a really cool, really solid box. The other one was fantastic, so I can't imagine him being anything less than. So let's do that. So he has the overcover, just like Leonardo did, and keep in mind, I have the Shredder and Leonardo. Those are the only two that I've tracked down from this collection so far. The back has a really cool Shredder emblem right here. That's pretty sweet. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I like this purple. It makes me curious if the bad guy figures will have purple and the good guys will have green or something like that. I don't know. This is only the second one I've got, but it is pretty cool. Let's see the Shredder. Let's open him up. I opened him up backwards. That was not the reveal I had meant to show you. But there, you got the back panel and everything, just like the other thing. There's that. Some people often like this code to be up on the screen, so there it is in case you need to scan it or whatever purpose. I'm not 100% sure. I don't use those codes myself, but there he is. Holy crap, he looks fantastic. He looks absolutely fantastic. I just saw the second head. Okay, I know why that's there, but wow. Okay, let's unbox him and take a look at him. Okay, so like the other figure, when we unboxed Leonardo, we get the weapons rack, which is kind of cool. It's all right. And it's more of a gimmicky thing to kind of talk about, you know, what came before, to really give praise to the original toys. And that's a big part of what that is. And you get that with Super7 stuff sometimes. And there's argument to be made that maybe that runs up the tooling costs, and maybe that's part of what we're paying for. But then there's the argument to be made that maybe that's part of what we're paying for. Maybe we want this. Not everybody, but maybe there's a good chance that you like these classic throwback ideas. And so, you know, it's arguable. Okay, we got closed fists and these open hands for different kinds of hands that we were given with him, and they're solid. I like that they have this little strap type of thing right here, that effect. I really like that because it's going to show that when we put these things on, the figure in general, see that little strap right there? In fact, why don't I just poke this hand out? There, you see the strap? That's what I'm talking about. That's pretty cool. I like that. It's a minor effect, but sometimes these little minor things, just like I tell people, sometimes in video games, we get so stuck on the big pieces that we never stop to look at the small little details that are put into simple games that would really blow us away, and that's a small detail that really helps him to stand out, makes his hands unique, offers a little bit of extra tooling to his hands, so his hands really just feel unique. I like that little bitty effect. It's not bad, it's not overly amazing, but it is pretty cool. Now, Shredder came with that thing right there, which we've seen one of these already before. He also came with 2 throwing stars, which are pretty solid, but they're exactly what you saw the last time. There's no difference, they're just the throwing stars. He came with those 2 stabby weapon things as well. I don't know exactly what these are called, but he came with these. Most of these weapons, I'll have no use for them, in all honesty. They're cool, but I'll have no real use for them. Now, the one item he did come with, however, that we will find use for is that. That's his sword, and it's a good one. It is, if I can get it, there we go. There's the tracking. There we go. Bam, that's great. I really like this shiny metal paint they use. I could argue that vac metal would be more appealing, but then I could also argue that vac metal chips, I don't know. I don't think this is a bad alternative. This silver paint works pretty well. And so that's the one main weapon that I want. Let's talk about his extra head. What am I talking about? Well, the extra head that they packed in is this. And it has something interesting about it. Just like the vintage toy all those years ago. This has the eyebrows drawn onto the mask. The hardcore eyebrows. Shredder should not have visible eyebrows at all. The vintage toy had a paint op that for some reason was screwed up, where they painted the eyebrows onto the top of the mask. And it made the Shredder look goofy, and he already looked goofy, because he was in that ridiculous Reachy pose, and like, he wasn't quite the Shredder that we knew, because he was more based on the Shredder from the comic books. And this is one of those things that we've talked about here over and over and over again, is that sometimes these toys are made and they don't represent the material, they represent something that's all their own. The toys are somewhat of an amalgamation between the series and the comic book, based more on the comic book, but still taking influence from the series. And when you're a kid and you expect these things to be the series, and then when you're an adult and you expect these things to be the comic books, and they're neither, then we latch onto a different idea altogether. It just became the Shredder that we knew, that we played with when we were a kid. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but this is what we should have got. That is much better face-wise. Now, this guy came with this cloak thing here, which is fine. It is an actual soft goods. Does this have a wire? This has an incredibly thin wire in it too, which is fine. They probably could have done a better wire in the cloak, and it has this belt for if he's going to wear the cloak, and it's like a little Velcro thing, so we just pull that off here. Let me put that to the side real quick. Open the cloak up, and then he would have a cape. And this is probably how I would display him. With the cape, with the open shirt, that's fine. That actually doesn't bother me in the least. However, they did give us a different cape. And I am curious, for what it's worth, whether or not this looks worse or better on him. So there it is. It is a solid cape, more of a rubbery-esque material. And in order to put it on him, looks like this isn't going to slide up over the head, so we're going to have to pop the head off. Oh my. Come on. There we go. Pop the head off. Take the cape off. I'm going to put it there for right now. I'll hang it right there. And then this is going to go down over him. We'll put the head back on. Come on, get on there, head. There we go. Got the head back on, everything. Okay, now, that's the more solid cape. It's, of course, more rigid. It's not going to give any real posability. It's for him if he's just kind of standing there. And it's fine for what it's worth. But in all honesty, I don't think I like it. I think it looks fine. I think it works for what it is. But I think that if he's going to take any kind of dynamic pose, if you're going to actually set him up and like put his claws out and then like put the sword in his hand and do something like this, you'd kind of want the cape to move, and it doesn't move. It's incredibly rigid. So personally, I would rather take and not have a cloak thing, not have like a tunic-esque thing that he wraps around him, but not have the thick cape either, this rubbery material. I think personally for this shredder, I think I am going to stick with not having this on. Maybe I'll find another figure that fits better, and then who knows, maybe it'll be like a twofer. It'll be really cool. Get your head on there. This is the better cape. And with that wire in there, you can actually have it so that it flails about kind of, where you can actually see, you can create a little bit of a dimension, so you could have him walking or something, where he's got 1 foot forward, he's kind of moving or whatever. I'm not roughly posing right now. But you get the idea that this wire, and it's very thin. This could have been a better wire, but it does allow us to do things like having the cape up and blowing and things like that. If you've never seen one of these, a lot of people do these now themselves. They just purposely go out and buy the wire and then use it, and they kind of sew it into their own fabrics and everything, and that's actually a really cool idea. I've seen some really good Masters of the Universe figures where that's been done, and he already has a belt. So like, he's got the belt right here, and then they gave him a belt that you could put on this cloak. I don't want that. I think what this is going to be for me is this is going to be a soft goods cape. And then I would like to put this in his hand. We're going to make our shredder right-handed. He could very well be left-handed, but I'm actually not sure about that. I don't personally know. So I'm fine with just giving it to his right hand or whatever. And then I may very well make the other hand a fist, like the closed fist, so that he can kind of use his claws and so that he could jab or something like that. This is a really solid figure. This is really solid. He is really cool looking. When this, let's see, does his wrist turn? No, that surprises me. That feels like a missed opportunity. I don't like that part at all. I feel like that should have, because that's going to limit him quite necessarily. I feel like there should have been something right here where he could have moved. He can move his bicep area. I don't know. That one bothers me a little bit. I won't lie about that. And I've heard, this is the first time I've ever invested in Super7, so this will be the second thing I've ever bought from them. But I've heard time and time again, actually, that Super7 has a bit of a problem with their human-esque characters, that they don't have the same amount of movement that you would expect from others. His legs are really solid, though. I mean, they do the splits and whatnot for the most part. They go straight out. He's got that good curve right here. He's got his ankle. He's got an ankle tilt and everything. And then I notice, oh, see, now his legs do what I was talking about. Look. So his legs move, and I like the fact that these move with that. And that's what I was hoping was going to go on up here, was that maybe those would move. They don't move at all. And that really sucks. That I was really hoping to be different. So Good points to this character so far. Good points. The weapons, solid. The fact that they at least attempted to give us an articulated cape that is soft goods, solid. But on a minor complaint, that probably should have been a tougher wire in there. Little bit thicker, and it would have held form and been easier to pose and whatnot. These probably could have been a harder plastic. These shoulder pads, because since they're not a harder plastic, we're running into a slight problem here where they bend. And you could tell that he's been in the package for a while because they're bent a little bit. Let me get him in focus. See, they're bent a little bit and they kind of go back, and it doesn't look as menacing when they're not straight out. But for the rest of it, his claws and everything seem right. His wrist movement is really good. His face is a terrific improvement because the eyebrows are there, but they're under the mask where they're supposed to be. Not that ridiculous. I'm never going to use that head that they gave us where they painted the eyebrows onto the mask. The stitching and everything is really nice. The fabric effect for the belt and the boots, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that fabric effect on the boots here. Go away, auto tracking. I need to fix that, in all honesty. As we do this, I need to get a lot better at this. But right there, that's really nice. I really like that fabric effect. I like the leather effect. And he's kind of glistening a little bit. Looks a little plasticky, waxy maybe, like a wax figure on his unbelievably in shape thing here. Look at that. He is in shape. He is in shape, man. You all wish that you could have the kind of body here. That is insanity. Shredder was in shape. This dude must have trained the hardest of cores. Very awesome. I don't have a whole lot to go over with this except for to kind of bring up those little points and everything, because unlike last time, when it was the very first time I'd ever got one of these, this is my second Super 7, and it kind of gives me an idea of what I'm going to be getting into moving forward. I still want the others. I want the Turtles, I want Rocksteady, and I want Bebop, and that's currently where I'm falling with this, is that I have Shredder and I have Leonardo. Those are the two I wanted starting out. Now I gotta get Raphael, I gotta get Donatello, I gotta get Michelangelo. I kind of feel like I want Rocksteady and Bebop, and a foot soldier. I say A because realistically I would like to have 2 or 3 that could stand alongside the Shredder, but let's be honest about what that would cost. That's not practical. Not for me anyway, especially not right now. My toy budget got even less recently, that I may be going down to 1 toy a month that I can actually buy. Normally it was 1 a paycheck. Now it may be 1 a month. I don't know. I have to wait to see where my budget falls with all that. But because of that, I really have to think, because that's maybe 12 figures a year. And so when you're on a budget with this kind of stuff, it changes the way that you buy and it changes the way that you make considerations like that. This figure is really cool. And I will not hate for a second putting him on the shelf and the fact of what I paid. It won't bother me at all. But when your budget falls into a line like mine has, you kind of start looking at all this and going, if I can only get a couple here and there, they got to be quality pieces. Every piece that goes up on the shelf has to either be a quality piece or it has to be something that I actively hunt and am actively interested in. Like Masterverse. I really like Masterverse. So I may go a little more hardcore and try to complete my Masterverse collection. And if I do that, that's a big part of what I'm going to be buying, and the rest of the stuff is going to be offhand for if I find myself with extra money due to overtime or something like that. Hey, we all have adult lives along with our adult collecting, and it is what it is. We have to take care of our responsibilities first and then kind of be kids second, and that is the way that it is. But for what it's worth, This guy's awesome. He's a great purchase for this year. And I'm really happy to put this guy on the shelf. Like I said, couple good things about him, couple bad things about him, but nothing that I would overall complain about in all honesty. So that's the Shredder added to the shelf. I'm gonna get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.